Am I the asshole for singing a song to my wife at our wedding and making her angry? I just got married last week. My wife and I are both in our 30s. I am Mexican, she is American, but we both grew up in the US and both our families know both languages. My wife planned every bit of the wedding and was a very controlling and nervous bride. But all right, I get that she was stressed. During the reception I went to the band and asked them to play a song for me to sing to my new wife. It was Te Amare by Miguel Bosé. It was the song from Out First Date in a really bad Mexican restaurant, so it became a long-standing joke between us. The guests really loved the song. My mill cried and told me it was beautiful, but my bride seemed upset. I asked her what's wrong and she said I am an asshole for taking the spotlight to enforce my ethnicity and not just let the band sing our song for us. AITA? Not the asshole. What a weird way to view what happened. Not the asshole. You sung a song that is significant to the two of you, at your own wedding. This incident on its own is a bit of a red flag, that she reduced it to your ethnicity. Even ignoring that it was a song that was actually significant to the two of you. Does your culture and ethnicity disappear because you married an American woman? Seems like a pretty racist reaction. Not the asshole. It's your day too, you know. She should have just appreciated the moment and sentiment and found it funny and charming that you remembered. Not the asshole. Is she normally like this, though? What an odd reason for being upset. I'm of Mexican descent and my husband is of Polish, German descent, so we worked on highlighting traditions from both sides at our wedding. Although more from the Mexican side, since I follow more of my traditions than he does. I know she may have been stressed, but it was your wedding, too. Has she shown any indications of having an issue with Mexican heritage before? You'll want to find out now, before you have kids, if that is the case. Miguel Bosé is not even Mexican. And how did this enforce your ethnicity? Half of the guests were your family, or does her side didn't know you were Mexican? She didn't want people to know that you speak Spanish? Not the asshole. Yo le estaría preguntando exactamente qué le pasa. Porque su argumento no tiene ni pies ni cabeza. Not the asshole, but this is a huge red flag, in my opinion. She said I am an asshole for taking the spotlight to enforce my ethnicity and not just let the band sing our song for us. Am I the asshole for canceling the payments for my daughter's wedding after she told me my wife isn't invited? My daughter, 27F, is getting married in the fall. I, 58M, het dad, am supposed to pay for the wedding. That's what we agreed on. We got the save-the-date invitations a few days after I put the payments through my bank. They need to be approved, so no money has been paid yet. My wife isn't invited to the wedding. I have been divorced for 15 years and married to my wife now for 8 years. My daughter never really liked my wife, they didn't get along well. My other 2 kids love her. I called my daughter and asked her why my wife isn't invited. She said that it's her wedding day and she only wants to invite her real family. I said, well, did you invite mom's BF? And she said yes. I said, well, okay. Then you should invite my wife too, or I am not paying for the wedding. She declined and said she isn't inviting my wife. I told her I'll cancel the payments then, and she didn't believe me. I cancelled them and my daughter is now super pissed at me, as is my ex-wife. AITA? ETA 1. My wife is 61. I met her 5 years after my divorce. ETA 2. My daughter and wife never got along. She took her mom's side during the divorce and our relationship has been rocky ever since. Not the asshole. You didn't ask for your wife to be part of the wedding party, just a guest. Your daughter has the right to not invite your wife, but then she has to pay for her wedding. I'll cancel your wedding payments if you don't invite my wife. Her. No, you won't, and she's still not invited. Lol. Cancels payments. Her. Surprised Pikachu face. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Why should you, and presumably your wife, pay for something that she's not invited to? That's not how it works. If she wants to exclude your wife, then she can pay for it herself. Not the asshole. She has every right to decide who is at her wedding, but you have every right to decide to support your wife in this. Especially if she doesn't like her simply because you married after her mother. Nah. Your money and you get to spend it how you want. Your daughter can decide who she wants at her wedding and you can decide not to pay for it. Not the asshole. Your daughter is being flat out rude. And where she has the right to decide who's invited, you have the right to decide not to pay. Stick to your guns, and I wouldn't go back and agree to pay if she decides to invite your wife. She'll take your money and make it hell on your wife. She's not going to suddenly decide to start playing nice. Let the mom's boyfriend pay. She obviously thinks of him as family. Am I the asshole for refusing to help my brother and telling him he should have expected to lose his children? My brother is going through a nasty custody battle and it looks like he's going to lose his children. This all started because my brother decided to have an affair, continued seeing the other woman, his now fiancée, after his wife found out and moved with his 2 children once his wife had a mental breakdown. My sister-in-law didn't want her family to get involved until he took the kids, but now my brother is realizing he fucked up as my sister-in-law's dad and brother are using their money and connections to, unfairly, destroy him in court. I've tried not to involve myself, but all my family want to talk about is the custody case as everybody is worried we won't be allowed to see the kids if my brother loses. I have a casual sexual relationship with my sister-in-law's brother and my sister suggested I should use that to look through his phone, house to see if there's anything that could help my brother's case. Everybody was on board with the idea but I refused to do it. I told them he would catch me but they still want me to try. I ended up having an argument with my brother because he said I didn't care about how he was going to lose his children. I was upset so I told him he should have expected to lose them because he knew who her family were before he decided to fuck everything up. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. No offense, but it seems like your entire family is ethically challenged. Has anyone suggested being nice to your sil and her family in order to remain in contact with the kids? I have a casual sexual relationship with my sister-in-law's brother. Gets out popcorn, begins munching. Not the asshole. If your brother wanted to be with his fiancée, he should have divorced his wife first. Now he should just hope he can get partial custody of the kids. Dude needs to learn there are consequences, and your family asking you to sabotage your own relationship, casual as it might be, is shitty. Edit for clarification. I'm saying he should hope to get partial custody because from Ops post it sounds like the courts are going to be leaning heavily in favor of mom's side of family having custody and not him. Not because cheaters shouldn't have custody. Sorry for any misunderstanding. But also other comments are bringing up good points that I hadn't even considered. Sounds like what husband did wasn't entirely a legal thing to do and sil fam is very justified in this custody battle. Well, what did he think would happen? You're right to not snoop. That would be a crime. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Although I am curious as to how it would be unfair if SIL's dad and brother rightfully gathered evidence to use against your brother in court if he's the one who ruined everything. Just as you said, he ought to expect this. The second he chose infidelity, I'd say destroying him in court is fair game. If he cared about his kids he wouldn't have cheated lol. Not the asshole. It's gross that they would expect you to do this. And really, what on earth would you expect to find that would turn this around for him? He's dug his grave and now he's in crisis and panicking. It's a long-shot fishing expedition with high risks that would violate your personal integrity. Sounds like exactly what your brother would ask you to do, based on how you've described him here. Am I the asshole for blaming our new home for making me shave my head? My mom took a job in Texas last year and moved us from our home in Eugene, Oregon to Dallas. She says it is because we needed a new start after our dad died, but it's more like she needed a new start. She never asked us for our input. One day, she said we were moving to Texas and that was final. The daily temperatures here have been over 100 degrees lately. Everything is hot, humid, stinking, and it fucking sucks. My hair has taken the worst of it. I have curly hair that doesn't react well to heat or humidity and it's been a tangled mess. Nothing seems to tame it. I never had this problem back in Oregon. Yesterday, while mom was at work, I got fed up with trying to comb out my hair and instead got some clippers at Walmart and shaved my head. Mom broke down crying when she saw my new hairstyle, and screamed at me. What was I thinking doing that? People will think I'm weird for having a bald head. I snapped back at her and said that I hated everything about it here, especially the heat and having to change my hair and my clothes to fit a place I can't stand. I told her this wouldn't have happened had we stayed in Oregon. I fucking hate it here, and I will gladly stay bald until I can go home. The rest of our family, who think that mom uprooting us was not a good idea, disagree with me shaving my head. They think I am being an asshole for making the move and adjustment period more difficult for her. I don't give a fuck. At least I feel cooler and more comfortable without hair. But I can hear her crying from the other room, so I am doubting myself if this was a good idea in the end. Am I the asshole? Just a heads up, pun intended, wear a hat or put sunscreen on. You don't want your head getting sunburnt. This isn't really a matter of who is the Your family has clearly been through a lot and it sounds like you and your mom need to work on communicating your feelings with each other better. Not the asshole. Her crying right now, most likely really isn't about your hair. Your hair may have started the crying, but it is about something deeper. Odds are it about life and she's trying, but it doesn't feel like it is working. She tried to make things better, but she didn't. I moved from heaven to hell and all I got was this lousy haircut. This makes a lot of sense. Your comment about your mom needing the job and why you moved. I know someone who lost their significant other. Her and the kids couldn't find a job, lost their house and struggled to put food on the table. Moved in with grandparents, and kids had to get jobs to help. If your mom moved because she needed a job, she probably didn't have a choice. Nah. There's too much trauma to unload here. You're not the asshole for shaving your head because yeah it's damn hot, but it would be good for you to understand why your mom felt the need to uproot the family. This is above this subreddit's pay grade.